I'm Christopher Kent. Welcome to Flea Market Mania. We're here at the Berks County Heritage Center in Reading, Pennsylvania. Folks from all around have come to enjoy the 20th annual Berks County Heritage Festival, and they brought their antiques and flea market finds for us to appraise. So come on, let's get started. I would like to welcome you to the show.
Nice
and
to
your
meet
name
you.
is?
Jerry.
Jerry, what have you brought me here?
Well, I brought a hand mirror that I found in a flea market, actually, and I bought it for 25 cents.
Well done.
Thank you. And I found this pin in an antique store in Reading, and I bought it because I liked it. And
you know,
maybe about $15 or $20.
Frankly, that's the only reason to buy anything.
That's
because
right.
you like it. There are people that buy things, the rather cold-blooded ones, who buy them purely for their investment value and all of that. That's fine, but you should.
That's right. And I wear it and tell people it's my grandmother, but it's not really.
There you are. There you are. What you have here is a porcelain plaque that's been put into a base metal holding fitting that has been gilded and or gold washed, vermeiled, whatever name you want to put onto it. That's what you have. And sometimes you will see on the back of the porcelain plaque itself numbers or the country of origin on the back. And a lot of these were coming out of Germany, Czechoslovakia, just this little plaque portion of it. And then, depending upon where it was being exported to, they would put it into the fastenings, the holdings from there. Now, I'm going to stare at this one rather closely. What you have is, you have a design, basically, which has been transferred onto the porcelain, and then you have handwork on top of that, which is very nice. Period-wise, this is coming from late Victorian into the first, let's say, 10 years of the 20th century. They were popular pieces. They were not extremely expensive pieces when they were made, so that they had a good cross-peel as far as purchasing was concerned. This, you paid how much for this little piece?
Like 15 or 20.
You did very well.
Really?
The quality of the work on this particular one is very nicely done. Subject matter is very appealing. Sometimes also you will see these done in lovely little panoramic scenes with the village idiots sort of dancing there, you know, that sort of thing. But this one is done in a sort of classic miniature portrait or cameo. And once again, probably from Germany or Czechoslovakia. Now, your price that you paid for it was very, very good. I would put this particular piece at about $125. So you got yourself a nice one. Let's look at this. These small mirrors became very popular once again, mid-19th century. The Victorians loved these little things. Now, you can take this historically back as well, because you would get these in varying sizes in the 18th century, and what would you do with it? Well, of course, you look to see that your patch was in the right place and your makeup was all doing what oh dear, the makeup was doing everything that it was supposed to do. But also, you could hold it up and look behind you. You could check out the people in the theater and so forth and so on. So it is simply has evolved from that point to something that you would put into your reticule or your pocketbook or something like that. Now this one does in fact have some markings on it. Always look when you purchase something like this to see if it has any manufacturer's marks on it. Sometimes you will see a name, sometimes you'll simply see a hallmark, sometimes you'll see numbers, and then there are combinations of all of those things. Yours happens to have combinations of all of those. We have a manufacturer's mark, we also have a name, which is Spitzer and Pumpman. Them I don't know, I have to tell you. But we also have the silver content in it as well. So what you have is, it's a very nice little scenic hand mirror in sterling, which is nice. We have these happy people dancing here in the courtyard of the courtyard of somewhere, and they're doing something.
I thought that maybe they were making wine or something.
They could be making wine, and the decoration is called a repoussé, which is a raised design and a very nice little bit of work on the handle. And you paid
25 cents.
25 cents! Why don't I shop where you people shop? That's all there is to it. This particular one, I would put age-wise on this probably 1910, 1920. No earlier than that, but it's got some nice age to it to begin with. And with that in mind, and the condition of it is good. You have nice beveled little mirror in here, which is in good condition. I'd put this at about $75 for this one. Thanks very much for bringing them in.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure.
Pleasure's all mine.
talking to
Sharon.
And Ralph.
Sharon and Ralph. One of the great things about this show is I can attack people that have just made purchases with a, did I get a good deal on this? Well, let's see what we've got here. First of all, how is this piece represented to you? Age-wise, let's start there.
Age-wise, I just assumed it was anywhere from 50 years old, maybe plus. I had no idea.
Okay.
It's like that. Looks like it might be the horsehair, but I'm not even sure of that.
50 years plus. Okay. Well, we got some margin to play there. Okay. Anything else?
No.
That was
beveled glass. I guess that's
and
it.
beveled glass. All right. What you have here is, and then I'm going to tell you what I think you should probably be paying for this. If we can get a tight in here, can you get a tight in here? Hello, come on in here, and look at here. This is a lot of this embossed work here was applied with plaster base. This has been done with a sawdust base, which is compressed into this shape, and then the gilding is put over top of that. So we have two different styles here. Yours was just as readily used as plaster as well. Frankly, in my opinion, even though we have a little bit of this going on, the rest of it is in nearly perfect condition. It holds up much better than the plaster does. Plaster will dry out. This actually will expand and contract with heat, so it, longevity-wise, is much better. The other thing that you've got going here is, let's talk about its age. It is more than 50 years old. This could be anywhere from 1880 to about 1922, June 2nd, I think. Because stylistically, you've got a look which is typically Victorian, typically late Victorian. It pulled into the Edwardian period as well, into the teens of the 20th century. And for the most part, stopped in the teens and the 20s. That's about it. And then we had another look that was replacing this. You've got some leaf work, gold leaf work in here, but for the most part, your decoration is done simply with a gold paste or a gold paint. It was not. It was an inexpensive way of doing it, so they put it where you're going to see it most on the gold edge. You got tarnishing in here, in your finish, and there actually, if you can get it tight on that, is how lustrous this thing looked when it began. It was like bright, like new gold teeth. The other way that we can test to see, now not necessarily we can say one with the other as far as the age of the frame is concerned, but you can do the old card test on the glass. And you see the distance in between the edge of the card and the reflection in the glass. That is measuring the depth of the thickness of the glass itself. That thickness is putting us in about mid-19th century, right there. So you got a Victorian piece of plated, beveled glass in here. You can see we have a little bit of foxing or oxidation, which has eaten off the foil there, and that's okay. It's a rolled foil back. Don't do anything to that. Don't touch it. Leave it alone. This sort of thing you can do. You can have imprints made with a latex mold of this pattern here to have these pieces replaced. And it's very, very simple to do. They simply do a resin composite. After they make the mold, put it in and attach it right there. All right, bottom line. This piece, with this work missing here, some people will look at this as detracting from the price. I don't at all. I think it's a great look. It's saying I'm as old as I am and I'm proud to be that way. I would say you're in the market of about $250, $275 for this. And what'd you pay for it?
$20.
$20! The deal of the show. When we come back, we're going to be lighting up with opium pipes. You won't want to miss it. Come on back. We're back, and I'm talking to
Philippe Bozio.
Philippe. What a magnificent collection you have here, but I've zeroed in on your pipe collection, these Asian pipes. Tell me about this one that you're holding.
Well, it's an opium pipe, which probably belonged to the court, to the imperial court around 19th century. It's made out of ivory, cloisonné, silver and gold.
And the ivory is fabricated to look like bamboo.
To look like bamboo, like you see the roots over here.
Incredible.
And this one was made to travel, so it actually goes in two pieces.
Into pieces. Now, is this signed?
Yeah, it is signed and it has a poetry on top.
And it also signed here?
Yes.
As well. And the carving on the top is also ivory.
Yeah.
As
so
well.
The carving on the top is called a damper, which you can move and use another one depending the way you want to smoke.
Now, age. How old is this piece?
Around 1840.
1840. And of the other pipes that you have in this collection, which is your next favorite? Beautiful piece.
There is this piece here, which is out of sterling silver and jade.
Jade on the top and the bottom.
Yes, and silver.
Incredible.
And the damper is made of a material called I Ching, which is a kind of a porcelain.
Porcelain,
but
yes.
gold. Mhm.
Beautiful. Also from the same period.
Most of the best opium pipe were made around that period.
So mid-19th century.
Mid-19th century.
Beautiful. Tell me about this one with the turtle on the top.
This one is made out of bamboo, jade, silver, with coral, rubies, and onyx stone.
Beautiful.
And the damper represents a turtle. It's also in ivory.
Exquisite. Now, what strata of society would be owning these pieces?
Well, the most beautiful pipe would be part of the imperial court or people near them.
I see. And certainly not readily available to the public at large.
The public at large would rather use kind of pipe like this, which is just bamboo, pactong, which is kind of a silver, Chinese silver, and sometime ivory in the side.
Oh, absolutely beautiful. What kind of prices are we looking at for these pieces?
Well, they go from $1,000 till 15,000.
Beautiful, magnificent. Is this the extent of your collection, or do you have more?
Oh no, there is more in the display cabinet over there.
Everywhere. Now tell me about this piece really quickly that I have in my hand.
Yeah, this is a carving of made in ivory of two young men laughing. Well, maybe not young men because they don't have any teeth anymore.
They have no more teeth, yes.
They have no more teeth, laughing and smoking.
And smoking opium.
Yeah, and it's made out of ivory, and the mat that they stay on is like this one you have on the floor here. That's where they used to smoke when they didn't have much money. When they had more money, they had a bed like this.
They had an opium bed.
They had an opium
and this was
bed.
just one part of the whole industry, because there were beautiful pieces of furniture like this one as well. I want to thank you very, very much for sharing this beautiful collection with us. I'd like to welcome you to the show. And your name is?
Denise Gould.
I like your Band-Aid here as well. Very nice. Now, what do we have here? Tell us what we have here. Oh, and we have sunshine. How lovely. Tell me what we have here.
We have this medical book, which I found in a house my boyfriend and I just bought. It was in the basement in a wood pile.
Well done.
And this somebody was going to throw away.
Even better.
And I don't know where I got that.
All right. What we have here is as we flip open here, we have some of the best looking perfect bodies, but also what we're having is complete descriptions and so forth. These are very, very popular, and these are sort of dioramaed here. We can flip and turn so we can get all sorts of views of internal organs and so forth and so on. It goes on from here as well, and is telling us very nicely the publishing and all the information right here. What you have is a prime, large editioned size-wise text source, and these were very, very popular, sort of like the Gray's Anatomy in broadsheet. And what's interesting about this one in particular is the fine work they've done as far as the color reproduction is concerned. Now you'll find that most of the information here can be somewhat dated as far as that goes, so I would not use this as my source for medical reference. However, the information that we need to know is all back here as far as publication by Bodyscope in about, 1948? 1948. So certainly post-Second World War. These are highly collectible. We have people that collect just medical paraphernalia, information, books, texts, you name it.
There's a lot of medical stuff in the house.
Absolutely, and they would be very, very happy to see this. And it is in mint condition. The fact that you found it where you found it in such good condition is wonderful. We'll get back to the bottom line as far as this one is concerned. Let us go to this one. First of all, we have the story of Bambi. Everybody knows the story, which was popularized by Walt Disney and so forth, in the film of Bambi, but most people don't know it as a printed text. This was published in the 1920s. What you do have here is written by Felix Saltern and with a foreword by John Goldsworthy, who himself was a very famous writer as well. You also have the illustrations done by Kurt Weiss, who is also a very well-known and famous artist as well. He's known for wood blocks and natural scenes and so forth and so on. You've got a very good book here. The quality of the publication of this book is interesting because it is not of the best, even though it's a first edition. Now, first edition of this quality, I would say with better stock, which is interesting that this stock was used as a first edition. I would put this one, I can give you a ballpark on this one right now. found this.
Somebody was going to throw it away.
Someone was going to throw it away. The value on this one, the resale value, fair market value on this particular one would be about $55 for this one. Now, we've got an interesting little piece over here, which is a little book of devotions, devotional use, or an aid to help you in your devotions. Normally, these lovely little volumes were done with a front and back of porcelain. They were manufactured in Europe, for the most part, Austria, Germany, and so forth, where there was the large body of Catholics. And this, as a matter of fact, my grandmother had one, and they were done in porcelain, normally with this very symbolic images on the front and back. Yours, however, is done in celluloid, and celluloid was early plastic product. We have inside a crucifix, and everything going for it is intact, in excellent condition. The publishing for this one was probably 20th century as opposed to 19th century, and the condition of it is not the best, but it's not bad as far as that goes. The detail work on this is very fine with a gold wash on the sides, and collectors of religious items and or printed text, religious text, would be very interested in this. And the bottom line on this one would be about $25 for this one. Now, this guy is very exciting because the condition is great, the quality of the reproduction is good, the printed text is brilliant, and all the attributions are right there. People who collect medical paraphernalia would, as I said, be very excited to see this, and I would put the bottom line on this at about $125 as is, or if this was not in excellent condition, this would be broken up separately, and I would say you could probably sell these for about $75 a piece. I wouldn't recommend doing that, but $125 is the ballpark you're looking for this particular piece.
Wow.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
A delight to see you all. This is nothing to cry about. It's silver overlay on frosted glass. When we come back, let's talk about it. Instead of my ugly old mug, can't you just see a gorgeous blonde with long, lanky legs mixing you with your martini in this one? This is a great one, probably from the 50s, 60s. Silver overlay on a frosted crystal. And it's a martini. Mix up those martinis in here, and you can just have yourself a lovely life after that long, hard day in the city, and you've just wended your way out into the country, sitting on that old piazza, looking out over the rolling hills of the far expanses. This is great. Probably, as I said, 50s, 60s. And they were very, very popular. They went with bar sets, and you got everything you ever wanted with this whole set. Good looking. You can find these now. They're now called retro looks. Isn't it nice to have a label? Now I'm retro. Ha! So are you out there. And you can probably pay anywhere from $25 to $45. Find them anywhere. They're really fun. They're lots of fun. If you don't drink, take the top off and make a really handsome vase. Why not? Or put lemonade in it for the kiddies. I'd like to welcome you to the show.
Thank you very much. My name is Jane.
Well, instead of the real thing, we've got a picture here, and from this picture, we can tell you a number of things. What do you know about the piece? Or more importantly, how did you come by the piece?
Came down through the family.
Very
I suspect it was bought in about the 1870s, after the Civil War.
Mm-hmm. I suspect you're about right. Do you know what you have here?
No.
What you have is an ice water pitcher.
Ice water?
An ice water pitcher.
Oh,
now, by looking at this, do we know that it has a liner inside?
Yes, it does have
It has a porcelain liner
Yes.
inside? Okay. These were manufactured in New England, big time. In Massachusetts, Connecticut, New York State, and most of them were made out of quadruple silver plate. And they were made either on nickel or copper. The better ones, in my opinion, were silver plated on nickel. And I see we've got some discoloration here on the front, which could be either a tarnish or your base metal coming through. Does this polish up at all?
No.
No. My feeling is it's nickel that has been plated on, and that's a good thing. It's fairly heavy, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. What you had here was very typically either in public buildings, these were used, and or on your huge Victorian sideboard
Yes.
in the huge dining room. This would be there sitting on the side,
Yeah.
and you would simply pour out, or someone would pour out for you, your iced water.
I see.
They were also used in the Deep South for iced tea and cold beverages for the most part. Very, very popular in the latter part, High Victorian era. And all the decoration that appears on it was very, very typical of the Victorian era as well. We have some very nice little crab additions on here. We will also see here this beautiful, slightly neoclassical designs that hold it onto the stand, the picture itself.
Yeah.
But more importantly, what you have here, and a lot of them don't have, is this little cup would hold a glass. Your glass would be fitted into that, and then you would pour directly into your glass, so that you didn't have to touch it or anything like that. The glass simply fitted right into that little holder right there, and 9 times out of 10, they either had them and they no longer have them anymore, or they were not made for them. Danby, Connecticut, one of the biggest manufacturers as well for this sort of thing. You'll get a lot of the companies. Whiting Silver made them as well, sometimes in plate, more often in sterling silver. The big companies like Reed and Barton made them as well. Gorham made them, you name it. If you were manufacturing any sort of silver or silver plate, they were making these ice water coolers. In Massachusetts and where as well, Meriden was making them as well. Meriden was making them out of a base metal and then doing a quadruple plate on them as well. And they didn't hold up quite as well. These were solid citizen pieces and very, very fine. My feeling is this piece is decidedly worth being restored. If you want to put the time and money and investment into this piece, it is very worthy of restoration. And it would mean you would take it to a place to have it resilvered. They'll strip it down, they'll completely replate it, and you're going to have a really stunning piece. If this were in mint condition, and I'd say the size is about maybe 20 inches from top to bottom.
Close, 18.
18?
18 3/4.
They're big. I mean, they're big pieces. In mint condition with the silver plate in excellent condition, everything intact, all parts there. You're looking easily about $850 for it. So it is worth it to you, if you use it or would like to use it, to have it replated, put the initial investment in, which is going to cost you a couple $100.
Yeah.
But ultimately, at the time that you may want to resell it, you're going to be able to recoup your money and get a good fair market value for it. Thanks for bringing it in.
Well, thank you very much.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Very nice.